Hello everyone, Victoria Emmanuel here. Welcome to another episode of Identity Core Podcast. I'm your host, and this is episode 5. Today we'll be talking about something very, very important, not just to me, but to you, but a topic that concerns everyone on earth. And the topic about today's discourse is the extraordinary you. The extraordinary you. And what do I mean by extraordinary you? I think there is a general term to explain being extraordinary, and then that is being going beyond expectation, being exceptional. I mean, rising beyond status quo, exceeding expectation, meant expectation, because God definitely have high expectations of us, and to even be able to, I mean, get to God's expectation, we need the extra push. So some of us have not even gotten to God's expectation. Gotten to men's expectation, talk less of exceeding them and then reaching up to God's expectation. But God's expectation towards us are unimaginable. They are so great, and God expects every one of us to be extraordinary. And there is a general term, for being extraordinary. Because I said being extraordinary means you exceed expectation, you rise beyond status quo. People, or generally our words today, believe that being extraordinary is being maybe being a go-getter or achieving your dreams, either your career dreams or financial dreams or whatever dreams you have. Being a go-getter, achieving them, smashing those goals and all of that, we tend to like describe those set of people that are living in their dreams as being extraordinary. While it's not a lie, it's not totally the truth. Being extraordinary in God's way is much more bigger than just you achieving your dreams or being a go-getter. Being extraordinary in God's way is the amount of influence you have and the how much you've impacted life. So being extraordinary is not just about you. To be extraordinary, you have to look beyond yourself. You have to look beyond your goals or beyond your dreams. You have to look beyond yourself. Ultimately, looking beyond yourself, living a life that please not just yourself, but impacting lives. And for you to claim that you love God or uh you love God, you must love the people that God creates. So being extraordinary is influencing life, being able to impact lives, being able to help somebody, being the help that somebody else needs, being the love that somebody needs, being Jesus's hands and feet here on earth, being able to do what Jesus would have done here on earth if he was still around. So if he's still around, by the way. So being able to help other people is incorporated in the extraordinary you. So to be extraordinary is not just about yourself or your goals, it's about how much more you can look beyond yourself and you can impact the life of others. While saying all this, there are qualities that I think can define an extraordinary person. I think I've just paraphrased by saying you have to look beyond yourself. Looking beyond yourself is okay, yeah, but there are some qualities that we can look in a person, we can look at in a person and say, oh, I think this person is extraordinary. So the first qualities I'm going to talk about is the ability to see beyond the obvious, the faith in you to see beyond the obvious. That faith in you to see beyond the obvious means that you might be in a lowly state at the moment. You might not necessarily have everything that it takes to be extraordinary, to influence life, to help others, even to probably help yourself at this point. But you see that I'm not in this place, I'm not limited to this cage, I'm beyond this, I'm going places. So the faith in you to see beyond what is obvious, a lot of people like to believe what they can't see. As we all, there's a common saying that seeing is believing. So once you can't see it, you don't believe that it's something that can happen. So a beautiful story would be that of a young man that said that there is money in my account, but there is really no money in the account. But he was claiming that there is money in his account and he wanted to buy a house, and he went to price the house. And on getting there, the person said, "Okay, you're done with the paperwork now. It's left for you to pay." And miracles do happen. A miracle eventually happened, and the person kind of like gave the person the house for free and said, "You know what, stay here for some time. I think I'll collect the money from you later. I need to put some things in place before I get the money from you, but you can just stay in the house." So look at that. The person, of course, the person does not have any money, no money in the account, but it's, he kind of like believed that there is money in my account. So the ability to see beyond the obvious is extraordinary. Is part of your person, is in you. You just have to put it to use. Another qualities I would like to discuss is the courage to know that you are never defeated unless you give up. The courage to know that you are never defeated unless you give up. That is another quality of an extraordinary person. To be extraordinary, you have to believe that you are not defeated. Life might not be smiling at you. Things might be going haywire. Things might not be going the way you want them. But you have to believe that you are never defeated. You are not disadvantaged. You are going places, and this is not the end of the road for you. The ability, the courage to always pick up from wherever you found yourself is something very powerful, and it is in you as an extraordinary person. Another quality of an extraordinary person is the knowledge that you are in absolute control of your reaction to any circumstance. You are in control of your reaction. So if someone does something to you, or people around have done something to you, or maybe the situation around you is not just playing out as you want it to play, you have to know that you are in absolute control of your reaction to whatever circumstance. So you can decide to be angry and, just, I mean, scatter everywhere and say, "You know what, I'm done with this." And you can decide to manage your emotions and know that there is more to this, there is more to me, and you have to be in control of your reaction. So those people that control their reaction, no matter the circumstance, no matter how people anger them, or no matter what happens, those people are extraordinary. And you can be extraordinary as well, because that power is in you to control your reactions no matter what is playing out before you. Another quality I would like to discuss of an extraordinary person is the adventure of growing through change by re-beginning. Mm, by re-beginning, the adventure of growing through change. Some people don't like change, and whenever something happens that is not in line with what they have been going through, or that is not in line with what they have prepared for themselves, they think, I didn't plan this to happen, and it kind of like affects their whole being. I read a story of somebody that I think was an actress or so, and was a public figure, and she eventually grew paralyzed also, which of course affected the whole dream, because the dream is to become an actor, and if it affected her dream, and that's everything she worked for years. But she didn't allow that to put her down. She eventually went to story writing, and she started writing books, storybooks, and she's one of the best authors today. So it's how you can adapt to change. When changes happen, it's not the end of the road. There is more to you. There is more to your life. So the ability to be able to grow through changes, no matter what happens, is something we can say it's part of an extraordinary person. So there are some limitations that, kind of like keep us in a box from being extraordinary and to express that thing which is hidden in us. And those are just the direct opposite of the qualities of an extraordinary person. First one is the deluding impression that what you see is fact. That whatever I see is fact. If I don't see it, then it's not real. That deluding impression is a limitation to being extraordinary. And another limitation is the despairing, despairing impression that failure is final. Failure is not final. Failure is never the end of the road. You can pick it up from there, and remember the story of the actress I shared that got paralyzed. One would have thought that it's the end of the career, and could never amount to anything again. But she picked it up from there and became an author. So that impression that failure is final is a limitation to being extraordinary. The restraining impression that change will ruin things. Change will never ruin things. The fact that change happens does not mean that is the end. Does not mean that you are ruined or there is honey out of the rock. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is always something that comes with change, and you decide that if it is going to be failure or if it is going to be success. Then that fatalistic impression that you are the victim of circumstance. A lot of people like to play the victim. They say they believe they are victim of circumstance. Always the victim. I remember one time I was so down and my mom said something to me. She said that stop pitying yourself. And that resonated with me. I started thinking about that. That's why am I pitying myself? You are not a victim of circumstance. Don't pity yourself. Go out there and do you. So there is more to you. So that impression of you being a victim of circumstance is a limitation to being extraordinary. So another important thing I would like to talk about is the extra in you. The extra in you is the part. Well, okay, let me put it this way. Many people believe that God is the extra in us. Of course, while that is true, I believe that the extra in you is the power that God has given you, the power of your mind, the power to make decisions, to think, to imagine, to decide, to make choices. That power in you is the extra in you because God has given us the power to make choices, right? And He even gave us that power to choose Him or to choose another thing. He said, I've placed before you life and death. But He urges us to choose life. So that power of choice in you, that power to make a decision, that is the extra in you. So you can choose God above every other thing or choose every other thing above God. So that power to make choice, to decide what happens to you or how you 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 face life generally is the extra in you. And that is the most powerful thing in you. So you are not the victim of circumstance. You are the best thing that has happened to the earth. God has intentionally placed you in this time because He knows that you will flourish. You are not to be pitied. You are to be celebrated. You are extraordinary. And the fact that God has placed you in this time means that there is really something in you. There is not another person like you in the whole earth. There is not another person like you. And always remember that you are a winner, no matter the circumstance. I believe this bless you, and I hope you will realize that you are extraordinary. I'll see you in the next episode. My name is Victoria Emmanuel, and I would love for you to have a refined identity. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.